In Better Call Saul, Chuck is a character defined by his mental illness, despite his success as a lawyer. A lot of the scenes with Chuck involve editing that serves to demonstrate his mental illness. They use these close-up shots of Chuck to show that his focus is not on his surroundings at all, and he's not really present. And they contrast that with these pulled-back shots of the environment to show how alone and unaware he is. In this scene, they use these pulled-back establishing shots to show that Chuck is more aware of his environment at this time, but the more agitated he gets, the closer and more zoomed in the shots get on him. The electricity drone is also something heavily associated with Chuck's illness. The camera angles here show that Chuck is not aware of his surroundings, is only really paying attention to what he's immediately worried about.
I want you to speak the truth. Get him out of here or I'm gonna call the cops, okay?
Slowly, his focus goes around the room as he goes crazy.
Chuck is a very, very smart man. He's a very, very good lawyer. But there is something missing in Chuck, and it drives him crazy.
Besides the obvious mental illness editorial motifs, there's also a huge motif with Chuck feeling like he's missing something in his life, and something's out of place. This scene beautifully demonstrates how the one thing wrong in Chuck's life can mess everything up. When he messes up the one note on his song in piano, he tries to play it again, but we see Chuck through the mirror in a distorted image that reflects the way Chuck views reality after he's made a mistake, or if something in his life isn't quite right. We see this motif again when Chuck is messing with the metronome. In this case, the one thing missing or wrong in his life is the metronome being out of time, and it prevents him from playing the song. The camera angle is specifically held at this perspective, where all you can see is Chuck's face and the metronome. With the camera this close, it feels like Chuck is consumed by his own thoughts, but when they pull the camera back, you get to see how isolated he is.
Jimmy.
No, Mom, it's me, Chuck.
Ultimately, what Chuck is missing in his life is what Jimmy has.
Jimmy.
No, Mom, it's me.
I made my mom proud, but Jimmy made her laugh. And that's like magic to me.
Wait, I think I know one.
Oh, bring it on.
Yeah.
Chuck is jealous of Jimmy's natural charisma, and although Chuck is successful and literally looking down on Jimmy from this camera angle, he is in the background and not really noticed by either Jimmy or his wife.
Not enough cement.
What? Oh.
In this scene, Chuck's joke doesn't land with Rebecca, and he is visibly distraught about it. Eventually, again, they pull the camera away to show how empty he feels as a result of not having that ability.
He's working at Davis.
This jealousy ultimately takes over Chuck, and he can't stand the fact that his brother Jimmy is getting more credit than he is.
Working as an attorney.
Chuck feels that Jimmy's success is undeserved, and every time he learns of Jimmy's success, you see his reaction when his face is in a dark light.
To be fair, he had his doubts.
It's great.
It is ultimately Chuck's inability to accept the ways in which Jimmy is better than him that leads to both the falling out between him and his brother as well as Chuck's own demise.